We are talking about circadian biology and circadian rhythms. We are joined by the expert in this space, Dr. SATCHIN Panda. He is a renowned expert in this space. He is a researcher in the space, and he is a professor at the Salk Institute in San Diego.
So the word circadian literally means approximately a day. So these are daily rhythms, and I would say circadian rhythms are the internal timetables for every cell in every organ in our body, including in our brain cells. So circadian rhythms constitute the master plan. Just like you have a daily plan, so similarly is the master plan that tells what time of the day or night each of our 20,000 genes turn on and off at different time of the day, so that the function of every cell, every organ in our body is tuned for peak performance. And then you would ask, well, what do you mean by that? So what I mean by that is these timed activities in our body actually improve our immune function so that we can better fight infectious disease and also reduce our autoimmune disease, accelerate repair function so that we can recover much faster from an injury, fall, and ankle sprain to again ligament injuries. And then it optimizes our brain function so that we can be at our peak intellectual and emotional health every single day and reduce our risk for depression to dementia. Circadian rhythms also supercharge our metabolism, the DNA repair function, detoxification program so that we can stay healthy, and it reduces our risk for diseases like from diabetes, obesity to cancer. Yeah, so these 24-hour rhythms evolved because our planet runs around its axis in every 24 hours. So from the beginning of time on our planet, there is this very predictable change. Almost every single day, if there is only one constant that has happened over the last 4 billion years, the sun comes up and goes down in every 24 hours. So that's why there is light and darkness, there is high temperature during the day, low temperature at night, there is more humidity at night time, daytime is less humid. So accordingly, we have genes and programs that are almost integral part of every living organism. So it's not only us, it's even the pond scum, to plants, to your insects, spiders, snakes, elephants, and humans. All of us have these rhythms. Only in the last 40-50 years we actually woke up to its importance, because many of us, nearly 1 in 4 adults in the US and maybe 1 in 3 to 4 adults in many developing worlds, we do what we call shift works. So for example, night shift worker, the nurses, doctors, airline pilots, bakers, firefighters, they have to stay awake when our body's clock is telling us to be asleep, and they have to try to sleep when we should be awake. Mm-hmm. And we know from almost 100 years of epidemiological data that when people have this shift work like lifestyle, then the risk for many diseases, not only one disease, many diseases go up, starting from depression to dementia. And in fact, the International Cancer World Health Organization has determined that this living against your clock or doing shift work like lifestyle for a long period of time is a potential carcinogen. It can even cause cancer. So now the question is, well, you may not be a shift worker, but what is the definition of shift work? It is actually staying awake for 2 or more hours between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. for at least once a week, and being engaged in some kind of work. If you're not sleeping enough and you are awake in the bed, that's not shift work, but you have to be doing something. So now imagine almost every new mother is a shift worker. Everyone who is caregiving is living the life of a shift worker. Every high school, college student is living the lifestyle of a shift worker. So in fact, almost 85% of us in our lifetime, we spend the lifestyle of a shift worker for at least 5 years. So that means our daily life is very disrupted, very disruptive. It disrupts our circadian rhythm, and that reduces our fitness. So it's no surprise that by the age of 50, almost 1 in 2 adults in the US have high blood pressure. 1 in 2 adults is close to having pre-diabetes or diabetes, and many other diseases, many diseases, the risk go up.
Yeah.
And why this is important is now we are finding, not only in my lab, hundreds of labs around the world are finding that if we fix this disruption to circadian rhythm by eating at the right time, sleeping at the right time, and getting some light exposure during the daytime, very simple things that can be extremely powerful in preventing, managing, and also accelerating cure from many different types of disease, not only one disease, multiple diseases. So that's why this science of circadian rhythm is slowly catching on, because it's not only one disease, not only for older adults, it's also important from young kids. Even it's very important for premature babies who are the most vulnerable ones. They're in the neonatal ICU, and people think that they don't have a circadian rhythm, but actually they do. So I'll give you, maybe as we talk, few examples how circadian rhythm can have huge impact on health from premature babies to older adults. Yeah, so when the baby is in the womb, of course, the mother's circadian rhythm affects the baby. And there are also a lot of studies now showing that mothers who have disrupted circadian rhythm or sleep, they also have difficult pregnancy. And even those who have normal pregnancy, but at least they have a premature baby. And actually in the US, 1 in 10 babies are born premature. So 1 in 10 means right now, among all the listeners we have, they should know at least one person in their friend circle who had a premature baby.
Yeah.
And it's very heart-wrenching when you have this little baby and hooked up to all the feeding tubes and all the sensors in a incubator in hospital, and the lights stay on for 24 hours, and we assume that there is no circadian rhythm, so that keeping the lights on for 24 is okay. But then few years ago there was a study done in Mexico City showing that if you just simulate bright light, not even super bright light, it's like normal light that is in most people's house or in office during daytime, and then dimming down the light to not even complete darkness, just dimming down at night for 12 hours, can accelerate growth of these premature babies so that they can get out of the hospital almost 2 weeks earlier than the babies that are left under continuous light. And this is the power of just simulating this very natural rhythm of day and night cycle, which even many scientists thought that, well, babies don't have a circadian rhythm, they wake up and cry in every 3 hours. So,
Yeah.
but this is an amazing result that you can accelerate the growth of premature babies. They can get out of the hospital, come home by just simulating light dark cycle, nothing else. You are not even changing their feeding cycle or anything, just light dark. Actually, yeah, so that's the question many people have in mind, that maybe some people can adapt to it. And maybe some people will say that, yes, I kind of adapted to night shift work and I can go with the flow. And but what really happens is, after these nurses or these night shift workers retire and they come back to normal life, or even when they have a long holiday vacation, then they feel more rejuvenated. When they're actually working in normal day and sleeping at night time, they feel much more rejuvenated. So the bottom line is, yes and no, in the sense there are some people who are more likely to stay awake late into the night, and they say like they're night worker, they are more productive at night time. And it's possible that either they have a mutation in their gene that makes them more night owl, they may be able to stay awake later into the night and work. but we haven't seen that this frequency is that high. Only 1 in 250 or 300 people have such kind of genetic change that actually makes them night owl.
Wow. And I'm sure there's a lot more night owls out there than 1 in 250.
Yeah, so that's why what happens is we stay awake late into the night with, a lot of anxiety and also excitement. Sometimes high school kids and then the college kids, they're just staying up, finish their homework. Do they enjoy it? I don't think so, because when they have vacation, they actually go back to sleep much earlier, or they sleep in much later in the day. So the point is, we think that we can stay awake late into the night and we can do all this stuff. But epidemiological data is also telling that forget about shift workers, just normal people, you and me, who are staying up late into the night consistently, they are at a high risk for depression and long-term sleep disorders. They are the ones who will have insomnia in long run. They are the ones who are more likely to have depression and many of the brain health issues. So that's why we may think it's common, but it's not normal and it may not be healthy for us.